We'll see if this is actually going live. Little late night Malifaux. Okay, looks like we're going live. Let me mute this. Okay. What's going on, Rage Nation? I just wanted to do a live stream. I'm going to see how this looks and everything else. Let's see here. See if it looks like it's going. Okay, looks like everything's going okay. So I'm going to talk, and hopefully, since I'm doing this on my Mac, the quality is going to be better than when I did it on my non-Mac. So we'll see how that goes. I am in the garage so I can enjoy pipe while I'm talking about my Malifaux game today. So as you can kind of see on the screen, I played a game today, and let me make sure. Let's see, I need to move that over a little bit on the stream. One sec, guys. All right, let's see how that looks. I shuffle that over because I want to be able to see the stuff and my face. And we'll see how that looks. Okay. Got that scooted over. All right, that'll do for now. I can adjust that as needed. But anyways, I played a game today, and this was one that I decided to bring Sandeep back into it. It's been a long time. I haven't played Sandeep since I did pretty decent with him at the Houston Foe down in October. That was GG3 though, so I wanted to see how he did in Gaining Grounds 4, and that's kind of the whole purpose, just to get back into him, see how he does. So, put this up. Little Presbyterian mixture. But, so it's Raid the Vaults, Out of Corner, Espionage, In Your Face, Take Prisoner, Ensnare, and Information Overload. I took Take Prisoner. You'll see why here in a minute, because Wind Golem's a thing. And then I took Ensnare because all the out of activation, you can have somebody else drop a scheme marker, and then you drop a scheme marker, and your opponent can't really react too much to it. So that's the pool. This is what my buddy James took. He just got into Pandora. Yay me. So he took Pandora. He had Ancient Pact on Pandora and Candy. So he took Pandora, Poltergeist, 2 Sorrows, Kurgan, Candy, Dorian Crow, and Klaus. James would have taken Pandora 2. He just doesn't have the versions yet. But once he gets that box, which I think he got today, he said he'll definitely be playing that. But solid list. Sorrows are fast. Kurgan's a beast, and everything else in this list is also very scary. My Sandeep crew is the Font of Magic with Bonasuva with a Soulstone Cache. I did play Pandora. I think next time I'm going to try Rajput. I just think he brings more to the crew. Pandora did okay, though, as she does. I brought Shastar Guard with the, what do you call it? The thing that gives you Arcane Reservoir. And I brought a Fire Gammon to turn into a Wind Gammon. And then lastly, I had the 4 Winds with Soulstone Cache and a Fire Golem. Fire Golem was a mistake, though. I shouldn't have brought that. I'll explain why here in a sec. So the reason I shouldn't have brought the fire golem is because Pandora has opportunist any condition, so she can just rip off all of my burning. And James didn't do that because I made Pandora not as relevant, but it can be a thing. I should have brought the ice or the metal golem personally. So, looking at it, Pandora one's tough to play against and can be tough to play well. She gets in your face, grasping tentacles with Despair's influence. Like, she can cook in a built-in mask that then enables her defense and willpower to stun you if you attack her. So, I'm going to put that down. Hard to talk and do that. So, James is newer with Pandora, but he actually did a really good job of putting her into my crew turn one. He used the Kurgan to move her. I did put some ice pillars down and some pyres down to block her advance, so she actually had to go around a house. But like I said, the Kurgan was able to move her up. She like double walked and opened the box, and luckily the willpower on Sandeep's crew is pretty good. So I was able to deal with that well. I think I only got, like, there were 3 models that had to take the test, and only one of them got stunned, so that wasn't bad at all. Yeah, so Pandora's tough. But if you haven't played against Sandeep, Sandeep has a lot of good answers to what Pandora does. So Pandora has a lot of these auras that just makes it terrible to do anything. She can make you activate different models. She can stun you, make it difficult to move around. Luckily, with Aetheric Control, you can put down pirate markers and ice pillars. So I was able to actually get ice pillars down pretty early to start blocking off line of sight for things like boring conversation, that stupid, like, your movement's reduced by 2. And the other thing that I did that really helped out is Bonasuva has toss. So Pandora got into my crew turn 1. And turn 2, James did a good job of discarding to make other models go. But eventually he ran out of cards. So Bonasuva was then able to go. And I used toss, and I tossed Pandora just way the heck away. And it's stat 4. I really miss this with Bonasuva because there are so many problems in Malifaux when it comes to things that can really stop your crew from doing what you want. And unless they have Laugh Off or something like Planted Roots, toss is great because you can just toss them 10 inches out of the way. This is even better in Sandeep because you can use Sandeep's ability Students of All. So you can just activate an academic and you can pitch a card and say, I'm going to do Bonasuva's toss. And you just toss. So you have multiple avenues of tossing models in Sandeep. And this really helps you get around a lot of the problems that you see with these different crews. Like I said, Pandora is awful. Candy's awful. So the best way is to, if you don't want to kill them, just toss them 10 and then walk away. Because that's the thing. It's not even just like a toss and then they can just double walk to get back to you. Sandeep's crew tosses you, but then you can concentrate the Wind Golem, Wind Gammon. You can toss your own models and you're placing further away. So that's what happened is I tossed Pandora and then turn 2 started happening more and I got myself on the midline while Pandora was back like way away, and she was slow too because she failed to duel against one of the ice pillars. So it's just one of those things where Sandeep has a lot of answers for problematic crews because sometimes you don't have the tech to deal with a model, so you can just get rid of it. Just be like, hey, 10 inches away, go. So that was really good. Because of my mobility, I was able to deny the first 2 turns, I was able to deny James getting the strat with Pandora. So that was really good. I basically just used a lot of my concentrate. The problem is I had to get Pandora out of there because I couldn't concentrate because when Pandora was next to me, I couldn't concentrate because she has that stupid opportunist and misery. So as soon as I get a burning or as soon as I get a focus or a shield, she can either ping me or move me, and that was really bad. I did tell James he was being a little too cagey with Candy. Because Candy, if you haven't had the displeasure of playing against her, her ability with Corrupted Innocence, discard card, and gain stunned is really good because she just wrecks your day and makes you miserable if she hasn't activated. So that's terrible. I have tossed Candy plenty of times out of my face. Also, Glimpse of Insanity on Candy with Burnout is really bad because she does 2 damage to an enemy model. Because it gains fast, she pings it for 1. And then if there's another woe model there, you ping it again for stun. So it's almost an unresisted 4 damage, which you can't even stone at all because that's 3 different instances of damage. So you would have to spend 3 stones to not take that damage. Just really good. So I showed, after the game, I talked James through that combo with Candy, because Dixon's done that to me a ton, where he just goes in and just obliterates the crap out of a model. Because then you're like, oh, well, you gave your enemy fast. That's bad. It's like, no, because when you do self-loathing, you can then use Misery with Candy to take the fast off and get a positive. So to hit. So it's just really good. So he was getting used to that. I killed the Sorrows really early. I killed him with the Wind Golem turn 2, and I killed the other one, I think, turn 3 with, I think it was my Shastar Guard, maybe, or Kandara, maybe both, and the Fire Golem. It was like a nice little... Actually, I think I killed both Sorrows turn 2, just because they deserved it. They can just be annoying. You just need to kill them. I told James, you probably should have used him as like a scheme runner, but that's fine. Kurgan was kind of guarding the back. So James is kind of getting comfortable with it. I think after turn 1 and 2, he kind of knew that Sandeep had a bunch of answers against Pandora, and he doesn't have enough games with Pandora yet to challenge that. So I do want to just talk about Sandeep because it was a good game. I think James found some cool tech. But I think I ended up winning that one. I think we agreed it'd probably be around 6-3 is where it would kind of end up sitting. But I do want to talk about, first off, I would have not brought the Fire Golem against Pandora. Like I said, she can rip the burning off, and that's not good. So I don't think I bring the Ice Golem because you can't get as much out of Blizzard because of all the Incorp. So I think I bring the Metal Golem against Pandora and just kind of see how that works. I don't know if it'd be good. The positive could be good. I don't know. I'd have to kind of walk through that to see if the Metal Golem's worth it. Maybe not. I don't know. But the Fire Golem wasn't it. It still did min 3 damage, and it took burning off my models to teleport and get in some good position. So that actually was still pretty good. So maybe I would. It's so tough when Pandora is just there running amok. Iggy would have been a problem, I think, if you brought him, but Iggy then just dies. So I don't know. But anyways, let's talk about Sandeep into Gaining Grounds 4. I think Kandara is going to lose her spot in a lot of cases to Rajput. Obviously, giving out Staggered's still good. I just think Rajput's just better. I'm going to back out of this game and actually pull up his card. Let's do Academic. So Rajput is definitely, there's a couple of things why I think he's going to be maybe better than Kandara. Kandara is going to still give that staggered that you want. He's going to, with his mantra, he's going to get rams. Oops. So he's going to get rams, which is good. There are some triggers where you want the ram in some of your models, but honestly, the triggers don't matter a ton. So, I mean, you're getting rams instead of tomes, so that's fine. Being harder to kill is probably something I really like on him. The demise of just like, hey, if I have focus, I don't die. His melee is just better. It's 2, 3, 4, which is the same as hers, but he has crit strike, so he can spike a little harder. So that's really cool to see. He can get some positives on it. Yeah, there's just some cool things there. Inside fighting, I think that's a cool thing. It might have his spots because you could discard to have something attack, do inside fighting to have it attack again. So you could really use this to kind of get the golems to punish something really hard, which Kandara doesn't do as much. Trigger to take the concentrate action is always great. Good fundamentals, making something concentrate again, once I'm getting multiple models to concentrate. So you pitch card, have that model concentrate, do good fundamentals, have the other one concentrate. This is good too because it can make other models elementals, which can ping more of the mantras, which is really cool. So I like that in Sandeep too a bunch. The tag out on I've Got Your Back is pretty cool too. Just being able to get a model out of there, reposition it, put Rajput there. So there was an instance where this would have been cool tonight. I had a lot of models around the Poltergeist and Boring Conversation was up. It is kind of a nasty situation that I had to really work hard to get out of. But if I just had inside fighting, I could have switched out Rajput, gotten an important model out of there. And since he's only size 2 with the 30, it would have been easier for me to hide him behind the Poltergeist. That way I wouldn't have had to take Boring Conversation checks. So, and I think he just kills the Poltergeist easier. Like I said, if you're getting those rams and then you stone for ram, I mean, you're doing min 4 damage. I think the Poltergeist only has 5 or 6 hitboxes. So if you get moderate or severe, you're getting pretty close to killing it, which is what you want to do against Pandora because that model sucks. So I think he's going to replace Kandara for me. I just think he does more. I haven't played him yet. I think the next game I play, which I'm going to I'll talk about this in a minute because I'm pretty excited about it. I'm actually going to take a quick side, it's like a side quest, right? Like Pete's taking a side quest to a different keyword. So I got inspired by Rich to play Savage. So I finished getting the models. They're going to come in by Friday. I'm going to put them together. So next week I'm going to start playing them in person. And it'll be fun because they're just a cool looking crew. But I think this Rajput box comes out next month. It's either this month or next month. I think it might be this month. And I'm pretty excited once I get the actual, because I don't like proxying. I will play Rajput on Vassal the next time I play Sandeep, which should be soon. And I am going to try him out because I think he's got a lot of spice in Sandeep too. But I think he's going to be better than Kandara for the 8 stones. So we talked about how good Bonasuva is. He just helps a lot in this GG. He's not going to be bad. I mean, he's a free totem that just is amazing. I'm not sure about the boxers. I don't think they're it in this GG. If you want something cheap to carry your magical training, this is probably a fine model to do that. But you need a lot of mobility in this gaining grounds, and I don't think this is it. So I think I'm still bringing the Shastar Guard, if I'm being honest. I just said Kandara is probably getting replaced unless I really want staggered from the Divine Strike trigger. The front of her card's fine. It's just, usually there's just not enough resources for her. Maybe in a game like this against Pandora, maybe I don't bring a Golem and I bring Kandara and Rajput. Maybe. I mean, I'll try that because it is funny to possibly draw like half your deck. Kudra, I don't know. She's fine, but 9 stones, I don't know. I haven't put her on the table. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. We're looking at GG3 or GG4 for Sandeep. Sandeep 1 might have some play. I like the idea of summoning Windgammon and getting free golems. That might be good, but I'm not sure. I got to put him on the table. Because I love Sandeep 2 so much, it really stops me from playing Sandeep 1. But summons are better this Gaining Ground, so I do have to give it a fair shot. I just need to bite the bullet. It's probably going to be a Vassal game because I don't like playing bad lists in store because I only get one of those a week, and I want it to be fun for me and my opponent. If I play a crap list, then sometimes I'm like, well, why am I playing this game in the store? He's still really good in Gaining Grounds 4. If I had any questions, he totally negated it. I do have some fun lists that I'm going to try with Karis and Rasputina as a second master to Sandeep. I think there's a lot going on there. Actually, technically, Sandeep's going to be the second master because they have abilities that say that when I'm the master, this happens, whereas Sandeep, he doesn't care. But it's going to be fun. I don't know if it's good, but it's going to be fun. But him in Gaining Grounds 4, just playing him straight up, no other masters. Aetheric Control still good. I find myself probably putting Pyromarcas out most of the time, but Ice Pillars are still going to be really good. Not just for giving out slow, which hurts your opponent, but also just blocking off just avenues, AoEs, stopping them from getting to vote, stopping them to getting to certain markers, maybe in Cloak and Dagger. So just really, really good stuff. His bonus is always awesome. Students of All, getting more APs. Like, I almost kind of freaked out because I drew my hand and it was crap. And then I remembered I was playing Sandeep. I'm like, oh, okay, these are just going to be free actions, and maybe I'll draw into some cards with Pandora, and we'll see how that goes. So don't forget about From Heaven and Earth. That's just good damage sometimes. Just 2/3/3. It wasn't great against Pandora's crew, though, because a lot of her stuff is in Corp, so it was 1/2/2. And yeah, that didn't matter. So definitely still on the Sandeep train. He's still really good. Shastar Guards Money. Know the Warrior. Amazing. Hard to kill. Amazing. Defense, Willpower 6. Just really great model. And yeah, most of the time I bring him because he's just that good. Don't care. Okay, I don't know why you're pulling up that stuff. Oh, it's because they have that on there. So, Elementals. There we go. That's good. So, most of the time you're going to bring these Gammon to turn into Windgammon. I do like I said, the Fire Golem may be more mobile than I initially gave it credit for, because you got to keep in mind that Pandora so maybe I do bring Pandora when I bring the Flame or Fire Golem, because her and Banasuva are Flameborn, so they don't care about taking fire damage. It's just always reduced to 0. So that allows you to teleport to them, and that's great. That's a 8-inch place. And that was really good to get to spots or get out of trouble. So that was just good. You can do it to enemies too. It's not resisted. So you just move to them, which is also really good. So I like the Fire Golem a lot more than some other people do. He's good. And he can also burn to a crisp different scheme markers. So in this GG, he's probably even better. I'm probably going to bring him more than the other 2 non-Wind Golem. Speaking 4 Winds Golem, always bring it. He's just good. Soulstone Cache, totally worth it on him. Up we go. Good against guns because the middle of the storm. Just such a beast. Such a beast. I love this model. It's just really good. Ice Gammon, yeah, maybe. I think the Ice Golem probably got worse in this one. In pools that you have like deathbeds or in your face, Ice Golem's probably fine. He's going to do a crap ton of damage. If your opponent has movement tricks, I would tend to not bring the Ice Golem, because then you get in this battle where you fight on where the Ice Golem's going to be. And that's just not where you always want to be with him. You want him to be in a spot and let's stay there. If you can do that, it's great. I played against Shen Long against Lance, and we just got in this giant push battle of pushing it back and forth. So I was just kind of like, okay. Yeah, I don't like this. But he's a beast. He can still kill stuff in those killier pools. But if you need to move, don't bring the Ice Golem. Let's see here. We got Pandora. Okay, Metal Gammon, man. Metal Golem. I don't know. He still has his matchups for sure with Ride the Rails. But the Fire Golem's just so mobile. And you're putting down pyre markers anyways. I just don't know. I can still see a spot for it. If I feel like I could leverage Vent Steam a lot, I would bring him. And there are matchups where that is definitely good. Like if you know I'm going to be fighting in this area, Metal Golem, and if you don't think they're going to have armor piercing, Metal Golem is a way to go. So yeah, I usually bring him if I think I can leverage Vent Steam a bunch. I don't bring the Oxforian Mage because I think they suck. Poison Gammon, never brought one. All right, I think that's, nope, we got, sorry, this little guy, this little dude right there. I think you're going to see more Wind Gammon, and I think I'm going to bring them more in this Gaining Grounds. So in Sandeep 2, you pay 4 stones for a little Ice Gammon, turn 1, grow it into a Wind Gammon, then it just runs off and scores your VPs. It's a great way to do it. That's what I did. So if you haven't played against these things before, they're solid. Don't underestimate them. The Wind Gammon and the Wind Golem are two of the biggest unpack parts of Sandeep. Just because the demise when you're next to Banasuva, you get to place a friendly model 4 inches. So this really helps unpack, because it's not just when that model concentrates during its activation. There's lots of procs to do it multiple times. So you can have the Wind Golem concentrate 3 times a turn, because you can do it once in its activation, once out of activation with Students of All, or For All, whatever it's called, and then once with Banasuva is Lord of the Elements, and then actually you can do it again with Rajput's, one of his actions. So Fundamentals or whatever it's called. So yeah, and each time you do that, if you set up right, you're going to be placing a model 4 inches. So this lets you be really mobile, and it lets your kind of loose bubble stay together. I did an unpack video with Sandeep where you can check out kind of how I unpacked. And it's just a good general unpack, but this GG is going to be a little more flexible, because I feel like after turn 1, a lot of times these Wind Gammons and the Wind Golem are going to then go off to score you VPs. And the rest of the crew is going to kind of do the beat down, do the scheming, score the points. So I'm interested to try it. Yeah, just really interested to try it. I think Sandeep has a lot of legs. The last thing I want to talk about, this was Sandeep, but I did mention that I'm going to be playing some Savage. Let's go to the Neverborn. And there's a couple of reasons I'm going to do this little Euripides side quest, is because when my son was 11, I think, he painted these models up for me, at least the core box. So I'm going to play it because, one, I want to give those models a fair shot, because it's kind of like a pride thing. Like, hey, my son painted these for me. And 2, I think they got some new models that made the Savage keyword really playable. So I think you can play Euripides 1, and I think you can play 2. I think they both have their spots. I don't know what those are yet, because I'm going to get into it. I only have 2 games I have 1 with each. So I do have 2 games with Savage, and I felt okay playing them. I saw some really cool things I did. But I think that the cult guys have added a lot to it. Thune's just a beast. I put people in some pillars, and that was fun. So yeah, the biggest thing though is, one, the Botungan got a buff, so these models did get better. You can essentially make ice pillars with them. They got Deadly Pursuit, hard to kill. Hard to kill is pretty good. So I did enjoy having hard to kill. But these crook skins are amazing. My second game, I played 2 of them, and they're just really good. They have stealth, so you got to get in their face, and they're pretty mobile. Craven Imitations is an amazing action. The put an ice pillar out for Gigants to teleport to, or for Yuri 1 to teleport to, or Cult Geist to teleport to, and then sneak away. Just Secret Passage is always good. So being able to teleport 8 inches away, really good. Putting out Staggered where their attack targets move, that's really good with Crit Strike in there. And I appreciate the old ways. As you saw earlier, I have myself a pipe, which one can say is kind of an old school thing. But playing Savage has made me appreciate the old ways. So, because of the old ways, and because of the beautifully painted models that my son has painted for me, I am going to play Savage for a bit. And then I'm probably going to play a bunch of Sandeep again, because I really enjoyed that today, guys. Like, going back to this game, this would have been a tough game. There we go. And I think with a few more reps, James is going to make this a closer game. But let me go through these schemes real quick and how I feel like they are for Sandeep. Espionage is doable. Let's pull these up so you can see them. So being able to put scheme markers on the center line and enemy deployment, you can do that, especially with the Windgammon. I think bringing 2 Windgammon might be a thing. I'm going to try that down the road. In your face, this one's tough because you don't want Sandeep kind of in their face. If I brought an Ice Golem, I think I would get a little more aggressive with this. And the second point's actually really easy because most of the time the Wind Golem doesn't die. Excuse me. So usually you get that second point. Take prisoner is really easy, especially with the Wind Golem. You also have toss, so you could just kidnap a model. So either the Wind Golem or Banasuba tossing models. Really good way to deal with that. Let's see here. And then the other one was Ensnare. This one was actually pretty easy to score because, like I said, Student of All, you pitch a card. I had to work through it with James because I was like, oh yeah, this doesn't quite work. But you pitch a card. I had the Fire Golem drop a scheme next to a model, and this was activating Sandeep. And then I did my bonus to disengage from the model, and then I interacted with Sandeep. So whenever that model activated, Ensnare triggered. So really easy. And then information overload. If I wanted to do this one, I could have, especially with Windgammon. So I think if I take 2 Windgammon, I just do this because it's pretty easy to do. So very, very flexible. I think this is going to be the truth with Sandeep in a lot of pools. It is just very flexible, and there's no obvious one that I could try to score because I think Sandeep could score all of those. So let me know what you think about Sandeep if you've played him or played against him in Gaining Grounds 4. I think he has a lot of legs. I think Arcanists are definitely in a pretty good spot when it comes to Gaining Grounds 4. They got a lot of really solid masters. I feel like Colette's just a nightmare. Damien's still really good. And of course, I've been playing a lot of Marcus too. I did an unpack video where it was the game from with Beard, and I felt like I unpacked Marcus pretty good, and there was a lot of playability there. But let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share the channel. Definitely want to get more content out for y'all. I'm going to look back at this and see how it streamed. I think it streamed better on the Mac, so I'm excited to see that. So we can do this more often, because on the other computer it was too choppy and wasn't worth doing. And I'm actually going to talk with a friend of mine to see if I can get the layout a little cleaner, because I know a guy. But until next time, thanks for checking us out. Make sure that you flip cards, flip tables, and we will see you all later.